Hi guys. Hi. Hi everyone. I don't know whether you guys can hear me or not, but yeah, hi everyone. Because whenever I see it's a little bit delay, so I think um you will only hear me after like 30 seconds or after 1 minute. So yeah. Hi Liang Jie. I see your name here. Someone asked me about, are we going to go through the whole paper? Yes, we are going to go through the whole paper. Yes, guys. Entire paper too. Is this video replayable? Yes, the video can be replayed. Don't worry, guys. Hi, guys. Hello. Hi. Hi. It's a bit delayed lah. I know it's gonna be very weird. When I say hi and you all just reply me after 1 minute, I say hi. Oh, hi Yanru. Yanru is one of our MX tutor. Just in case you guys don't know her, you can follow her YouTube video as well. She teach MX and then Liang Jie teach mathematics. So obviously you all know lah. Hi guys. Hello. Hi. Oh, by the way, the file I have attached at the pin message and also at the description box, so you can get the PDF file. There are two versions, okay? One, I actually pre-typed it because the original PDF, it was a bit messy, so I actually pre-typed the entire thing. But the one that I pre-typed is only in English. So if you are like, BM paper learner, you can use the original file because the original file, they have the BM version one. Okay, but my explanation will be all English lah. If you want to ask me any question in Mandarin, totally fine. I can understand Mandarin, but I will try to explain in English because I have students who can't understand Mandarin, right? So I will only be using English unless you really don't understand, and then I will try to explain a little bit in Mandarin lah. Okay. Will you do other state paper as well? This one I have to consider. Probably, I think yes. I don't know. Because I have to find another free time to do a live class, or unless I do recorded video. Like if I do recorded state paper, then I don't have to spare a time to do live. Which one we'll be doing today? It's the same as paper 2, SPP paper 2. In the link, I think there are three PDF file. Two are the same, just that one I pre-type it, and then the other one is actually the paper 3. Later, I will also post paper 1 just in case you guys want paper 1 question as well, and I'll also post the paper 1 and paper 3 answer in the same PDF file. I mean, in the same Google Drive lah. When did all TTC teachers become YouTubers? Guys, we are not YouTuber, guys. We are just a normal teacher who wants to, share information. Wow, see, my another YouTuber student. Hi, Andrew. Wow, rare Pokemon, Andrew. That is a YouTuber. I'm not a YouTuber. You can go and subscribe Andrew channel as well. Hi guys, hi. For us, is that tick one last time. What is the tick one last time? Okay, another few more minutes, another 1 or 2 more minutes, we're gonna start. While waiting people to come in, I can talk about what we're gonna do today as well. The video can be replayed. If you think that I'm speaking too fast, you can pull it back and you can try to slow down the speed. I will use my normal speed to teach. And as you all know that YouTube, right, is delayed. So whenever I ask question, I don't think I can wait for you to, I can wait for you to reply. So I will just teach. So if there's any part that you don't understand, you can ask me. I will explain whenever I see the message, okay? Probably after like 1-2 minutes, okay? 1-2 minutes, then I can see your paper, I can see your question. Can you do more live stream before SPM bio starts? I will try to. If I have time, I will try to, okay? Jasong is not my student. Jasong don't take bio. Jasong is Jasong take econs, so he don't take bio. Jasong is Liang Jie's student, if I'm not mistaken. Jasong is TD student. Jasong is Liang Jie's student. Teacher, which chapter should we concentrate more on? Any hotspot chapter? I think I've explained the hotspot in another live class. I mean, not this live, but another YouTube channel live. Oh, hi, Yuqing. Yuqing 哥哥 teach science. I have to promote all the TTC tutor here. Okay, I think we can start the class now. As I mentioned, the PDF file is there. If you think that I'm speaking too fast, because I will use my normal speed to teach. If you are my student, I think that you are quite used to it with my teaching speed. If you are not my student, I think that you will think that I speak too fast. Okay, so you can like pull it back and you can try to slow down it. Okay, so let's look at the first question. Okay, this is the first question that you can see. I know it's very hard for you to get SPP MRSM question. If I'm planning to do another state paper, I think the next one I will do MRSM lah, because I think a lot of students cannot get the paper for MRSM and SPP. So the first one that we're going to do is SPP paper 2. So the first question, usually for first question, right, it will be your Form 4 Chapter 3 or Form 4 Chapter 2. It will be your first question. So Form 4 Chapter 2 and Chapter 3, you cannot skip the chapter because confirm the first question that you open, it will be your Form 4 Chapter 2 or Form 4 Chapter 3. Okay, now this is Form 4 Chapter 3 obviously, because as you can see there's the phospholipid bilayer here, right? Diagram 1.1 shows alveolus and blood capillary. Diagram 1.2 shows the structure of plasma membrane of epithelial cell in alveolus. Okay, from this diagram, okay, what do you have to know here? Usually the first thing that you have to know is the labeling question. All of the first question starts from labeling. No matter whether it's a plant cell, animal cell, or phospholipid bilayer or whatever, they will start from labeling. If you don't know the labeling, there are a lot of marks that you will miss. So you must know the labeling first. So if you have very bad basic, I think you can try labeling first. You have time to do that because your paper is 1 month later. Now it's 16 February. It's 1 month to your SPM bio paper. So name the process of oxygen movement in 1.1. This is like Form 2 or Form 3 question that you all should know. I know in Form 4, Form 2, Form 3, you all learn diffusion. In Form 5, you have to write what? Simple diffusion. So the process is called simple diffusion. Okay, you have to write simple. Okay, simple diffusion. Next one, explain how the process in 1A occurs. When it comes to explaining about gases, you have to talk about the concentration of oxygen, right? But we cannot write concentration. What can we write? We have to write partial pressure. When you talk about oxygen, because it only oxygen diffuses into the blood capillary, right? Over here in alveolus, we have higher partial pressure. So what the simple diffusion says? Simple diffusion says means high to low concentration gradient, right? So oxygen in alveolus is higher, it will diffuse into the blood capillary. It's only 2 marks. The first sentence that you have to say is what? Alveolus has a higher partial pressure of oxygen compared to blood capillary, so that the oxygen will diffuse into the blood capillary. If the question is carbon dioxide, it will be the other arrow, means that it will be this direction, okay? This is carbon dioxide, but the explaining way is the same. So for oxygen, how are you going to write? You can write partial pressure of oxygen. Guys, my handwriting is a bit ugly, but hopefully that you guys understand my handwriting, okay? Partial pressure of oxygen in alveolus, it's higher than blood capillaries. Okay, so this is the first sentence. Okay, second sentence, we have to say what? We have to say that oxygen diffuses into blood capillaries. Okay, in this case, if the first question did not ask you the process, simple diffusion, in your second question, which is this one, right, you have to write by simple diffusion. It's because that the first question you already wrote simple diffusion, so we don't have to write this one. It's totally okay not to write this one because we have write it in the first sentence, okay, the first question, okay. Next one, B1. Based on 1.2, name the structure P and Q. Labeling question is the easiest question, guys. You have to know the labeling question. So from this question here, for P, is not very tricky question if you see it properly, because the diagram bracket only one thing. If they only bracket one thing, what is this thing called as? This thing is called known as a phospholipid. If it's 2-layer, we call it as phospholipid bilayer. Why is it called phospholipid? Actually, it has a meaning because the head is called the phosphate head, the tail is called fatty acid tail, so that's why it's called phospholipid. Okay, next one, we have Q. As you can see, right, Q, there is no opening. Okay, there's no opening at Q means what? It means it is a carrier protein. It will be a carrier protein. If you see the other protein, right, there is a hole in the middle, right? If you can see there is a hole in the middle, this is what we call as a pore protein. So it's very easy to differentiate which one is the carrier, which one is the pore, because if it's a pore protein, obviously there is a hole in the middle. If it's a carrier protein, right, there will be a closing area. Either they close together or they open only one part. That is a carrier protein. So labeling question, you should score a full marks for all of the labeling question, okay? Next question, it says, explain the characteristic of P which is related to polarity. A lot of people ask, what is a polarity? Actually, polarity has 2 types. One is a polar molecule. The other one is non-polar molecule. What is a polar molecule? What is a non-polar molecule? Polar molecule refers to water-soluble substances, okay? Non-polar refers to lipid-soluble substances. In this case, for P, we have head and we have tail, right? So for the head part, what we call the head part as the head part or hygiene, okay? The head part we call it as the hydro what, guys? You guys remember that because we have a head and tail, right? So the head part we call it as hydrophilic head, right? The tail part we call it as hydrophobic tail, okay? Hydrophobic tail, hydrophilic head and hydrophobic tail. Why is it called hydrophobic tail? Because the tail face inwards. When it face inwards, obviously because they don't like water. Because phobic means they don't like. Hydro means what? Water. When they don't like water, it will face inwards. Hydrophilic means they're attracted to water. If you are able to write hydrophilic head, attract water molecule, and the tail, you are able to write hydrophobic tail, repel against water, you will get the marks. Okay, hydrophilic and hydrophobic head. That is the easiest question lah. Okay, this one. As long as you understand what is polarity. But if you don't understand, never mind. You just write the characteristic of P. Because for P, phospholipid only has like one characteristic for head and one characteristic of tail. There's no other answer for this animal, okay? So for P, you're gonna write P consists of hydrophilic head, which attracts to water molecule. Okay, the other one is another one, the tail consists of hydrophobic tail, which repels against water. Okay, so this is the answer. There's only two answers for phospholipid, by the way. There's no any answer already, right? So this is the only answer that you can write lah, okay? So for C question, it says, an individual suffers from severe diarrhea and causes his red blood cell to become dehydrated. Draw the condition of one of the red blood cell. Okay, now in the question it says what? The person has diarrhea and the red blood cell becomes dehydrated. So obviously that the person is losing a lot of water, right? Because you have diarrhea, you become dehydrated, you lose a lot of water. When you lose a lot of water, the red blood cell, obviously that the water diffuses out from red blood cell, right? Supposingly, red blood cell is biconcave B shape, correct? When it loses water, it has a term to describe the red blood cell. The term that we use to describe the red blood cell, we call it as crenation, okay? Crenated red blood cell, crenation, that is the term that we have to write. The question asks you to draw the condition of one of the red blood cell. You have to draw a crenated red blood cell. How are you supposed to draw a crenated red blood cell? Very easy. When you draw like a star shape or whatever durian shape, okay? As long as it is not round in shape, as long as it is not biconcave shape. So this is actually the crenated red blood cell. Don't have to draw very nice one, okay? They don't test about drawing in biology. You just have to draw something like that. This is called a crenated red blood cell. And they ask you to explain the condition. For my student, I think you should know how to explain condition. No matter whether it's a red blood cell, no matter whether it's a plant cell, no matter it's a mustard green cell, no matter it's a whisking tube or whatever question, when it comes to osmosis, okay? Osmosis question because the water diffuses in and diffuses out, right? Whenever it comes to osmosis question, you have to know it's only 4 sentences. The first sentence that you're going to write is term. What does term means? Term means hemolysis, crenation, plasmolysis, deplasmolysis. Those are called term. Second one, what do we have to write? We have to write hypertonic or hypotonic. So we have to say who is hyper and who is hypo. A is hyper to B, B is hypo to A. Also can. C, the third one, we have to write water molecule. This water molecule, always remember to write by osmosis. By writing by osmosis, you get 1 mark. So remember to write by osmosis. So the fourth one that you have to write is explanation. This explanation is based on whether it is a red blood cell or whether it is a plant cell. Because right now we are doing red blood cell, right? So red blood cell can only be burst, expand and burst, or you can say it shrinks. Only 2 answers, expand and burst or it shrinks. Obviously this one is shrinks, so you have to say it shrinks, okay? So the first one, you can talk about it is crenated, right? So you can say red blood cell undergoes crenation. Crenation, okay? So next one is hypotonic, right? So in this case, red blood cell is hypotonic to blood plasma, because this one is in the human body, because the question never say whether it's a distilled water or whether it is a 30% sucrose solution, right? So it's based on the blood plasma. And then next one, talk about the water molecule. So water molecule diffuses out from red blood cell by osmosis. Exam cannot write RBC. You must write red blood cell. Okay, red blood cell. Cannot write RBC and no short form. So you can see red blood cell strings. Okay, red blood cell string. This one is a full mark. Okay, you can use the same answering technique to explain your paper 3 as well. It's the same exact thing, guys. This is a very good way for you to learn and to score all of the osmosis question. Wait, someone asked. For if I write polar hydrophilic head and non-polar hydrophobic tail, it's still correct. That one is correct as well. Wow, Wei En and Singy also here. One is physics tutor, one is account tutor. You can subtract them if you learn the other two subjects. Okay. Suggest how the individual can restore the shape of a red blood cell to normal. If you want to make sure that the person, because right now the person is dehydrated, right? So if you have diarrhea, okay, you have diarrhea, guys, what you're gonna do? Of course, you have to drink water. I have students who ask me, teacher, can I drink distilled water? Because distilled water is 100% water, right? It's always hypotonic, guys. No one drinks distilled water. If you drink distilled water, you're gonna die. If you go for IV drip, if you drip the distilled water, you're gonna die as well, because distilled water is hypotonic. Right now, your red blood cell, it becomes cremated, right? The water will diffuse into it. And when it reach a maximum point, it will burst. You're gonna die. Nobody inject distilled water. What you can do is, number one, you can drink normal water law, or you can drink isotonic drink. What is isotonic drink? 100 plus is the best example of isotonic drink. Just that we don't write 100 plus, we write isotonic drink. And yet there are another thing as well where you can drink another called ORS, oral rehydration salt, also one of the isotonic. But the easiest answer, you can just write drink more water, okay? Or you can say isotonic drink. Now that you can drink more water, I have a lot of students who ask me, teacher, when can I write drink more water? Now you can write drink more water, guys. Don't write people diabetes, ask people to drink water. People arteriosclerosis, you ask people to drink water. People blockage of heart, you ask people to drink water. Drinking water is an Asian thing, guys. It's not what you're gonna write for your bio exam. In this case, it's the only time that you can write drink more water. You can show your Asian characteristic here, drink more water, okay? We will post this live to your YouTube video after the class. Yes, this one will be repeated. It will be there, okay? So we are done with the first question. This is Form 4, Chapter 3 question. Okay, next one. This question, usually the next question is either Form 4, Chapter 4 or Form 4, Chapter 5. This is Form 4, Chapter 5, obviously, because you can see there are cell division here. It says 2.1 shows the cell in dicotyledon plant. Name the type of cell in 2.1. Okay, the question asks type of cell. If a cell that can carry out cell division, obviously this one is cell division because you can see there are different phases, right? So if a cell that are able to carry out cell division, obviously it must be a young cell. What is a young cell? Young cell means a meristematic cell for plant. Because for human we call it young cell, but for plant we don't call young plant cell. We call it meristematic plant. So the type of cell we call it as meristematic cell. Meristematic cell. Or you can say meristem now, okay? Meristematic cell. You can say meristem cell also can. State the characteristic of the cell. Okay. In this question here, right, you have to know a few things. You have to know if a plant cell carry out cell division. Not only cell division, it has 3 different zones for a cell. No matter whether it's a shoot or no matter whether it's a root, right, it has 3 parts. So we have 3 different zones: zone of cell division, elongation, and differentiation. Right now, the question asks what? They ask you to explain the characteristic of the cell when the cell carry out cell division. Okay, when the cell carry out cell division, what will happen to the cell? There are many characteristics during zone of cell division. The first one, you can say it has no vacuole. Okay, or you can say small vacuole also correct. Small vacuole also correct. Okay, another one, you can say the nucleus is larger in size. You can say they have dense cytoplasm and thin cell wall. These are the characteristics of zone of cell division. since I mentioned we have another two more zones, right? Zone of cell elongation and zone of cell differentiation, right? So we're going to go through the other two zones as well, just in case you guys don't remember. This is under Form 5, Chapter 4. Form 5, Chapter 4. So let me explain over here since I have no space to write. Zone of cell elongation. So what happened during zone of cell elongation? The first one, the water, because elongation means they will increase the size and mass of the cell, right? The purpose or how the reason that the water diffuses into it, basically the water diffuses into it by osmosis. Then they will become larger vacuole size. So you can see that water diffuses into vacuole by osmosis. The small vacuole, it will increase to large vacuole. Small vacuole into large vacuole. Okay? Can? Sure, can I say undergo active cell division? Yes, you can explain that, but you have to make sure what happens to the cell because they ask you to write the characteristic of the cell. So the characteristic is not the process. Means how does a cell looks like is called characteristic, okay? Another one, cell differentiation. Okay, cell differentiation, what happens? Cell differentiation, it means that the cell will carry out a specific function, okay? They will carry out a process when it turns into a permanent tissue to have a specific function. That is cell differentiation. So you can see differentiate into permanent tissue with specific function. So right now we know three different zones already. So zone of cell division, cell elongation, and cell differentiation. So if the question, no matter what zone they ask, you should be able to answer them right now because this is the three zone here. Okay, all cells are identical, same. Because if you base on the characteristic, yes, because it's mitosis, right? Of course they will be the same. Then you have to write the other characteristic of the cell as well. That is one point that is correct as well. Like if it's not wrong, it's correct lah. But it will be better for you to write what happened to the cell or how does the cell looks like. Okay, so this is the answer for three different zones. Next one, based on 2.1, name the type of cell division that occurs. As I mentioned before in my previous video, I mentioned that, right? Type of cell division, you must only write mitosis or meiosis. You cannot write meiosis 1, meiosis 2. It's only mitosis or meiosis. Obviously, over here, you can see it's a mitosis because it will produce genetically identical cell as some of you mentioned just now. So this is mitosis, okay? Next question. State S is one of the stages in cell division in B1 where the spindle fiber contracts. Explain the chromosomal behavior in stage S. The diagram here shows that this is S, right? Okay, as you can see, they are being pulled apart. So obviously that this is an anaphase, right? As you can see, this is the anaphase over here, right? If you don't understand the diagram, never mind, guys. What the question says, it says what? The spindle fiber contract. Out of PMAT, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase, only one phase is the one that it contracts the spindle fiber, which is anaphase. If you are able to write it is anaphase and what happens in anaphase, that is the correct answer. So you can say S. This is anaphase stage. What happens during anaphase? It will be pulled apart to the opposite pole, right? So you can say the chromosome, or you can say sister chromatid also can. Okay, let me write sister chromatid lah. Okay. Sister chromatid. Chromosome also correct, guys. Sister chromatid separate and pull to opposite pole by contraction of spindle fiber. In order for them to draw, to show you how they form into two, right? It will be the centromere. It will be divided into two. Divide into two. Because initially, right, it looks like that. This is the original diagram, right? And then it will be pulled apart, right? To form something like that, right? So the centromere, this is the centromere. The centromere, it will form into two. Okay, Kent? Like how to, can you explain the effects of different solution to the potato chip? Can. This one I will be doing for one of the KSSM video lah. Next video I will post, okay? State the significance of process that occurs in 2B1. Okay, significance means what? Significance means important. You have to write the importance of mitosis. Very easy, guys. Because this is anaphase, this is mitosis. If you want to explain about mitosis, it's very simple. You can see they produce genetically identical cell. Okay, that is the easiest answer for all of the mitosis. Cloning, tissue culture technique, you can write the same answer. To produce genetically identical cell. Okay, produce genetically identical cell. Next one, in order to carry out mitosis, besides to produce genetically identical cell, you can also increase the number of cells. Okay, increase the number of cells. So if you want to write for growth and development, that is also correct answer. You can just write anything about mitosis. The importance of mitosis also correct. Okay, but if the question asks about anaphase 1, because anaphase 1 is different. Anaphase 1 is a very important phase. Why? Because anaphase 1, right, is a phase that the diploid number is changed into haploid number. Okay, from 2n, it becomes into n. This is what happens during anaphase 1. This is anaphase. Mitosis is different. Anaphase 1 is meiosis. In order to form into haploid number, they must carry out anaphase 1. To produce haploid cell also correct. Kaping, you already A+ in biology, right? You graduated last year already. You also got A+ already, right? Okay, so next one. Diagram 2.2 shows a type of reproduction by stem cutting. So in this diagram that you can see, they cut this part, the stem and leaf, and they put the stem and leaf into hormone X solution. Okay, this stem and leaf has no root, and then it forms into a new plant. Okay, this is the diagram. They cut the stem and leaf, they take the stem and leaf without the root. Okay, they take the stem and leaf and immerse into the solution X with hormone X. Okay, and it forms in the new plant. They ask you, name the type of reproduction. Type of reproduction only got two answers. One is sexual. One is asexual. Obviously, this is asexual because it's only one, okay? Because when you see two same name in biology, like sexual, asexual, the A represent absent, okay? So A means also represent you alone because asexual, you alone, okay? So this one is asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction. Okay, explain the role of hormone X in diagram 2.2. So in this diagram here, what is hormone X? Because right now you want to form a new root. You want to have growth. And you want to have a growth and development, right? Which hormone can promote the growth of a root and it can promote the growing of a stem and leaf? Obviously, the hormone will be auxin, okay? Hormone X is auxin, Hormone X is auxin. Okay, because we know that auxin can promote the growth in the shoot and inhibits the growth in the root, right? Elongation, right? The other function is to have a asexual reproduction, which is seedless fruit. The other function of auxin is basically for growing of root, formation of root. So you can say it promotes formation of root because right now got no root, right? Root, okay? Next one. You can see the other function is to increase cell division and more roots are produced to absorb more water, okay, to absorb more water. Of course, when you have more root, of course, you can absorb more water, right? So this is the answer for auxin. So guys, auxin not only can produce seedless fruit, which is parthenocarpy, not only for the seed where it will promote elongation in the shoot, it will inhibit elongation at the root. So you have other answer as well for auxin. Okay, can Next question 3, okay? Question 3. Diagram 3 shows the nucleic acid X and Y involved in the synthesis of protein Z. So we have nucleic acid X and nucleic acid Y. We have transcription and translation. Actually, they will wonder what is transcription, what is translation. So first of all, transcription, right, it means DNA, they copy to RNA, okay? This is called transcription. DNA copy into RNA. What is translation? Translation means RNA used to produce protein. Okay, this is called translation, just in case you guys don't know the meaning of it, okay? Since we know that DNA copy to RNA, right? So obviously we know what nucleic acid is a DNA. Because DNA copy to what? RNA. So obviously that nucleic acid Y is RNA. Make sense, right? DNA copy to RNA, right? This is the answer, right? So we have nucleic acid X as DNA, nucleic acid Y as RNA. And they ask you, what is protein Z? Protein comes in 4 different structures: primary, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary. 4 different structures. This one, we have alpha helix and beta plated. If you have alpha helix and beta plated, combination. Okay, combination of alpha helix and beta plated. Because alpha helix and beta plated, they are in secondary structure. This one, obviously, is tertiary structure because it's a combination of both. So this is a tertiary structure. Okay, now you know all of the labeling. It will be easy for you to understand it, okay? Easy for you to understand how does this thing works. Now, the first question asks you to name what is DNA, what is the nucleic acid X and nucleic acid Y. I have students who ask me, teacher, can I write DNA and RNA in SPM? Yes, you can. You can write DNA, you can write RNA. If you want to write deoxyribonucleic acid, or you want to write the ribonucleic acid, also correct. But DNA and RNA is a correct answer in SPM. You can write ATP, okay? You can write ATP. Okay, now they ask you, P is the basic unit of nucleic acid. Draw the structure of P, okay? Draw the structure of P. When you talk about nucleic acid, right, we have to know what does basic unit means. Basic unit, it means the smallest molecule. The smallest molecule, it has a name called what? It's called nucleotide, okay? Nucleotide. We have to draw the diagram. Nucleotide comes in 3 different shapes. The first one is a round shape, okay? A bit not round. Let me draw again. A round shape. Okay, thank God for iPad, okay? A round shape, okay? And then we have a hexagon shape, okay? Not hexagon, pentagon shape. So you can draw a pentagon. Pentagon shape. And then you have a nitrogenous base. Nitrogenous base comes in many different diagrams. It can be a rectangular shape, it can be this shape, it can be this shape, okay? It can be any other shape. So if you draw either one, also correct, doesn't matter one, okay? Remember to label the diagram, guys. This one is a circle, right? Circle means what? It's a group. So this is what we call as a phosphate group. And the pentagon shape is a pentagon shape, right? So we call it as pentose sugar. Pentose sugar. And of course, the last one is the nitrogenous base. Nitrogenous base is the one with ACTG. ACTG is the one that combines with another pair of DNA. Because DNA is 2, right? It's called double helix, right? So one, if it's A, the other pair must be T, okay? If this one is a C and the other one, it must be a G. So they must come in a pair. It has a bond in between them, okay? So this is the diagram. Sometimes they also ask you to draw the other way around, okay? If they draw this one, they ask you to draw the opposite way. So you have to know how to draw the opposite way as well. Just draw the same thing, but the pentose sugar, you have to debalik it. You have to make it the other way around. Pentose sugar, okay? Give 2 differences between nucleic acid X and nucleic acid Y. So basically, it's between the DNA and RNA. DNA and RNA. Remember, guys, structure question never draw in table form. If you want to draw in table form, the only way that you can write is in your AC question. You can draw in table form when you ask about differences. But for structure question, cannot draw in table form. Just that right now, I want to be faster, so that's why I draw in table form. You all can form sentence, right? Forming sentence is like a normal basic English thing, okay? Hopefully that you guys can form sentence, okay? So first, DNA, because DNA is double helix, right? You have 2 layers, 1 layer here and 2 layer, right? 2 layer, right? Okay, so these 2 layer we call it as double strand. Double strand. If you want to make it complete, okay, because this is not a must to write, but if you want to make it complete, you can say double strand of polynucleotide, okay? Double strand of polynucleotide. So obviously that the RNA will be single strand. Okay, one is double strand, one is single strand, obviously. Okay. DNA genetic information where RNA helps in enzyme production also correct. Okay, the other one, you can also write the name. Okay, DNA has another name called deoxyribose sugar. This is known as a ribose sugar. You can say one contains genetic information, one helps in enzyme production or protein synthesis also correct. The one that someone said just now. Double helix also correct, guys. Even right, DNA is double helix and for RNA is linear also correct. You have a lot of answer for DNA and RNA. I just write anything that uh anything that is correct lah, okay? There's a lot of answer for this. Contains genetic information. This one involved in protein synthesis. We can also see about the location, correct? So DNA located in the chloroplast and also mitochondria. RNA located in the cytoplasm and ribosome. That is the answer for DNA and RNA about location. But writing 2 is enough already. You have a lot of answer for this one. And you can also talk about DNA. It contains of a thing called thymine. And for RNA, it contains of a thing called uracil. Because as I mentioned, right, RCTG, right? You have a pair, right? RCTG pula. ACTG. ATCG lah, okay? A must pair with T must pair with A, C must pair with G must pair with C lah. So this is the combination for DNA. But for RNA, there's no pair one because it's single strand, it's linear. So the answer for this one, it has no T. So it's actually ACTU. U is the uracil. A stands for adenine, C stands for cytosine, T stands for, no T here, what did I write T here? G, paise, this is G, G is guanine. T is over here, thymine, okay? Thymine, the rest are the same, okay? So for DNA, it has T. For RNA, it has U. Okay, can? Next one, state the level of protein structure for protein Z. So protein structure, as I mentioned, structure only got 4. Primary, secondary, tertiary, quaternary. So obviously the one that we mentioned just now is tertiary structure lah. We have write it in the guidelines, so I'm going to skip the answer lah, okay? Tertiary structure for D1. Explain the role of protein Z in chocolate manufacturing industry. Okay, this question you have to know. Protein Z, chocolate. Okay, these are the 2 keywords here. Protein Z is tertiary structure. The example of tertiary structure are the things that we cannot see and we cannot touch. For example, what do we have? We have enzymes, hormones, antibodies, right? If you want to make chocolate, can it be hormone? Can it be antibody? Cannot be, right? You think, like you use think, okay? You think and see. Can it be hormone? Can it be antibody? Not possible. So the only answer here is what? Protein Z is what? Protein Z is an enzyme law. It cannot be hormone, cannot be antibodies. If you want to make chocolate, right, is a type of starch. Okay, I mean it contains of starch inside. So starch, if you want to hydrolyze starch, so obviously that you're gonna use amylase because it's starch. Of course, you have to use amylase because amylase will hydrolyze starch into maltose. It's called cocoa. When a chocolate has lesser cocoa, it means more starch. When a chocolate has more cocoa, it means lesser starch. So if you want to eat chocolate without gaining any fat or gaining any weight, you should eat chocolate with high cocoa, lesser starch. But you guys don't care one lah, so you guys just eat whatever chocolate that makes you happy lah. Okay, so you can see that protein Z, it's enzyme. So the enzyme will be amylase. So this is to remove starch from cocoa. And then starch is hydrolyzed into maltose. Starch is the polysaccharide, okay? And then maltose is a disaccharide. So starch does not taste sweet, maltose tastes sweet. Of course, if it's high cocoa, tastes bitter, right? But since you already choose to eat chocolate, it means that you want yourself to be more happy, right? So guys, just eat chocolate that is sweet to make yourself happy. Okay. Next one, an employee in a chocolate factory set the temperature of at 56 degrees Celsius during chocolate manufacturing process involving protein Z. Predict what will happen, guys. If an employee, he used 56 degrees Celsius, what will happen? Don't give me funny answer. Don't say that the employee got fired lah, the employee should or whatever. No, they don't ask about employee. The question here is what? Chocolate ma. Then you have to talk about what? The protein side. 56 degrees Celsius, it is a high temperature, okay? Since it involves a protein. High temperature, what will happen to the protein? It has a keyword here, you must write. Denature, okay? Denature. Easy peasy, yeah, this one, denature. So you can see that protein, that denature. If you're able to write denature, you get your answer. Next one, you can say that 56 degrees Celsius, it's high temperature that exceeds optimum temperature. Because the amylase is used to remove starch, right? So you can see that removing starch is slower. So the chocolate manufacturing becomes slower as well. Okay, so this is the answer. So actually, whenever you see protein, enzyme, high temperature, all the answers same one. Enzyme denature, then the structure of the protein changes its original shape, also can. Okay? Guys, if you think that I'm doing too fast, there is a thing you can pull it back one, okay? You can pull it back to watch it again. And the video, I will post it as a public so you can watch it later as well. Okay? Slow down the process of amylase hydrolyzed starch into maltose also can. This one is the same as whatever you say just now. It's the same answer, okay? Question 4. Okay, let's look at question 4. Question 4. 4.1 shows the pathway of nerve impulses in an action. First of all, labeling very important, guys. We have to label what is R, T, and S first, okay? So we're going to label all of the 3 neurons, and T is the organ. So obviously, T is your brain. Don't have to say, right? If you don't know this one, a bit sad. This is brain. And then we have 3 neurons. The 3 neurons will be afferent neurons, we will be efferent neuron, and also afferent, AIE, afferent interefferent neuron. So let's look at R. R and S is the neuron that people always get confused. Okay, how do we want to separate which one is afferent neuron, which one is efferent neuron? Very easy, guys. Let's look at R, right? You can see there is a cell body in the middle. Whenever you see a cell body in the middle, right, obviously this is a afferent neuron, okay? Afferent neuron. If you see cell body in the middle, it's afferent neuron. And the cell body is at the end of the neuron, right? This is efferent neuron. Then obviously this one is the interneuron. This one only same interneuron, you all should know, right? If afferent interefferent neuron, right, it has another name as well. Afferent neuron also known as a sensory neuron because it's the one that receives sensation. Interneuron is known as a relay neuron. Why is it called relay neuron? Relay neuron is actually the neuron that transmits nerve impulses from afferent neuron to efferent neuron because relay neuron is pass, P-A-S-S, pass in English. So you pass the nerve impulses from A to E. They pass, okay? And then for efferent neuron, it means motor neuron. Motor neuron, it means in science, we call it as movement. So basically, this is a movement. Okay, movement. Now, let's look at name neuron R. We have name neuron R in, so never mind. R is the afferent neuron. Next one, state the function of neuron stated in A1. You have to know all 3 functions of the neurons, okay? So the easiest way to remember the function of the 3 neurons, just remember three things. Receptor, CNS, effector. Okay? So receptor to CNS, right? Because as I mentioned, AIE, it comes in a sequence, AIE, AIE. A, they will transmit nerve impulses from the receptor to the central nervous system. I, they will transmit nerve impulses from the afferent neuron to the efferent neuron. E, they will transmit nerve impulses from the central nervous system to the effector. Receptor, CNS, effector, ARE. You have all of the answer for 3 of the neurons. Easiest way for you to remember the function. So now that you know the answer, right, state the function of A1 afferent neuron. Transmit nerve impulses from the receptor to central nervous system. You can say receptor to the interneuron also can, receptor to central nervous system also can, because central nervous system consists of interneuron. And exam cannot write CNS. You have to write central nervous system. If you want to write interneuron, also correct. Interneuron also correct. Both also correct, guys. Correct. Okay, next one. Based on 4.1, explain the pathway of nerve impulses from sensory organ to T in the action. Okay, to T, right? T is brain, right? So we're going to stop at interneuron. Because, stop here, okay? Stop here, okay? Interneuron. So in this case, what we're going to write? Of course, we have to start from the receptor. When this what is this person doing? The eye looking at the glass of water, right? The effect is the hand hold the water, right? Okay. So the stimulus right now is the glass of water. Your eye is the receptor. So your eye receives the nerve impulses. It will send to your brain. Using afferent neuron, when it sends to the brain, is interneuron. What happens in the brain? The brain part will interpret the information. Okay, information. While the one who asked SPM bio, I am very worried about you. You don't even know when is your exam. I scared like that. Okay, so you can see the receptor detect stimulus which trigger nerve impulses. Impulses is transmitted along afferent neuron to T. T is brain. Brain. Sorry, before brain, you have to say the impulses is then transmit to interneuron in brain. So the brain will interpret the information. Brain interpret information received. So what is the response? The response is the person go and take the water and drink, right? That is the response. Okay, can? That is the answer for this one. Next one, describe what would happen to the action in diagram 4.1 if neuron S is damaged during an accident. Okay, in this question here, right, they ask when S is damaged, means the efferent neuron is damaged. When efferent neuron, S is efferent neuron, right? Okay, yes, S is efferent neuron. Okay, when efferent neuron is damaged, obviously the person will not have any response. The answer is no response. The person will not take the water. The person will not contract the muscle. That is your answer. So you can say that no impulses sent to the effector. The effector, which is the muscle. Or you can say bicep muscle also cannot contract. Or you can say no response of the movement as well. You prefer to write T or brain. T also can, brain also can, doesn't matter. If you don't know what is T, then you write T. If you know that T is brain, then you write brain, okay? Do you have any hotspot topic? What is the important chapter for bio? I'm stuck, okay? Actually, right now, you go and try all of the state paper this year. That is the fastest way for you to score biology. You try all of the state paper this year, like all, okay? All state paper. You have a lot of state right now already. So you can try, okay? Comma like reaction. No comma. People no comma. People just no reaction only. People no, maybe no comma. Maybe cannot. Only the hand cannot respond. Maybe lah, okay? Not comma. Not so serious yet. But comma people will also have the same response. Feel pain but cannot respond also same. It could happen to the coma patient. Okay, 4.2 shows an action in the esophagus. So you can see that there's bolus, contraction of esophagus, the food bolus entering to the stomach, and then they ask you to state two differences between action in 4.2 and 4.1. 4.2 and 4.1, one is voluntary, one is involuntary. Wow, Ling Tao, you're also here. You SPM this year, man? You SPM, okay lah, you SPM end of the year lah, not now lah, okay? Okay, so over here, you can see 4.1 and 4.2 guys. 4.1 and 4.2. 4.1 is what? 4.1 is a voluntary action because you are taking the water, right? Is drinking water a voluntary action? Of course, it's a voluntary action. So this is a voluntary action. Is eating a food, sorry, not eating a food, is digesting a food a voluntary action? Of course, it's not. This is an involuntary action. If you think that it's voluntary, guys, can you all try to demonstrate? Can you all like store food in your stomach for 3 months? Because, for example, today I craving for McDonald's. Then I eat McDonald's. Can I store in my stomach for 3 months so that in the next 3 months, right, I can save my money, don't have to eat McDonald's? Cannot be, right? Right. Okay, so that's why it's involuntary. Okay, 4.1, since you can control, so they are controlled by cerebrum. Okay, the other one, this is controlled by the medulla oblongata. You can see one has a faster response, one has a slower response. You can see that it occurs consciously, it occurs unconsciously also can. It's scoring bio-voluntary action. It can be involuntary to you, Ling Tao, okay? I believe that you are quite involuntary lah, okay? All answer scheme for bio is in BM. No, it's not in BM. There are a lot of state is in English. Selangor state is English. What else? MRSM, SPP, and a lot of state also in English. Just that only a few is in BM. Terengganu is in BM. Perlis is in BM. But if it's BM answer, guys, don't worry. Just copy, go to the Google, you translate. The translation, right? You will understand it one. Don't worry. Just go and translate it. Okay. Beijing also another one. My graduated 2 years already. Also A+ student. Come here do what you all? Okay, so for C, anesthetic drug is used to block transmission of impulses in nerve fibers to eliminate pain sensation by giving numb feelings to specific parts of the body. This prevents pain during surgical procedure. Explain how anesthetic drugs helps to prevent pain during surgical procedure. So, guys, you all know what is anesthetic, right? So, for example, let's say you are going for a surgery, the doctor will give you a mask thing or they will inject the thing into your body, right? It makes you to feel sleepy. It makes you to fall asleep. That one is anesthetic. It's the one that blocks your pain receptor. It's called anesthetic. Voila. So, can teacher do more state paper discussion? If I got time, I sure can do, okay? So, this is what we call anesthetic, guys. Okay, explain how anesthetic drugs. Okay, now whenever you talk about anesthetic over here, you have to talk about it blocks at the receptor. Okay, guys, I don't know whether you guys know one thing or not, which they have a thing here. My drawing very bad, guys. I'm not Liang Jie, I cannot draw well. Okay. This is the diagram. We have presynaptic knob. We have the postsynaptic knob. In the middle, we have a synapse. Okay, we have a synapse. So in this case, presynaptic knob has what? It has vesicle. Okay, what is the vesicle called? We call it as a synaptic vesicle, and it has a mitochondria. Okay, my drawing very bad, guys. This is mitochondria. I cannot see, can I? Okay, this is a synaptic vesicle. What is in the synaptic vesicle? Synaptic vesicle is actually the one that contains of neurotransmitter. Neurotransmitter. For example, we have acetylcholine, dopamine, adrenaline. Those are known as the neurotransmitter. And at the postsynaptic knob, we have this thing called receptor. So when they release the neurotransmitter, so let's say when they release the neurotransmitter from here, right, they will bind with this part and they will release the neurotransmitter, right? Supposingly, they will stick towards the receptor. When it stick at the receptor, then what happens is the person will not receive any neurotransmitter. Okay, when the neurotransmitter sticks at the receptor, right, the person will have a response. But right now, it's the anesthetic that sticks against the receptor. When it sticks at the receptor, right, the person will not have any pain sensation because it blocks that. The one that blocks that right now is not the neurotransmitter. It is the anesthetic drugs. So you can say that no, or you can say drugs binds with receptor at post synaptic membrane. No neurotransmitter reach the next neuron. Interpretation of pain in brain does not occur. So this is actually the anesthetic drugs effect. Hi Junhan Physics. Okay, Ken. Next, question 5. Okay, question 5. What you can see here is, you can see this is Form 5, Chapter 5 question. Form 5, Chapter 5 question usually comes in the schematic diagram. This question is Form 5, Chapter 3. Okay, so for Form 5, Chapter 5 question is the easiest chapter that you can score the mark. If they give you a schematic diagram, of course, usually you have more schematic diagram than theory lah. This question, let's try together. You see whether which one is more lah. So first of all, let's look at 5.1. Shows a cross between a man's blood group AB and the female heterozygous blood group. Okay, so we have to know blood group AB. AB is a co-dominant. What is a co-dominant means? Co-dominant, it means that both are dominant. If you have blood group A, it will show blood group A. If you have blood group B, it will show blood group B. If you have AB, means it will show blood group AB. The other one, heterozygous blood group B. What does heterozygous mean? Heterozygous, it means that it's different. Different, since it's blood group B. Okay, now we're gonna write the genotype. For blood group AB, the genotype is IAIB. For female is what? Female is IBIO because it is different. That's why it's IBIO because it's heterozygous, right? So that's why it must be different, IBIO. And you have to write the gametes. If you are supposed to write the gametes by yourself, you have to circle the gametes because this one they circle for you already. Just separate them because it's under first law of segregation. Next one. Next, okay, so we have to write gametes IAIB. This is a mini Punnett square. So the other one here, we're gonna write IBIO. Easy, just put them together. IAIB, IBIB. The ABO must be in power of. This one is IAIO. This one is IBIO. It means what? It means that all of the kids here, all of their kids can be blood group A, IA. It can be blood group AB. It can be blood group B. It can be blood group A or B, right? It can be all four, right? Okay, next. The couple already has 4 children. Her 2 offspring have blood group AB and the rest are blood group A. Explain why. So right now, because out of 4, you only get 2 different blood groups. One is AB, one is A. It means that it's this combination and this combination. You have to say the dad and the mom. The dad A combines with mom B. It forms AB. The dad A combines with mom O. It forms A. So if you are able to say that which one from the dad combined with which one from the mom together, you will get the 3 marks. Just fill in the just form into sentences based on this Punnett square. So first of all, you have to say that both alleles are co-dominant. So you can say that co-dominant. dominant allele blood group is IA and IB. Both are co-dominant, okay? Then you can see that the blood group AB offspring receive allele IA from dad and IB from mom to form IA, IB from dad and IO from mom to form IA, IO. Daddy A, mommy B cannot. You have to write IA, IB. You can say that daddy's IA and mommy's IB combined together. Yes. In two sentences, your answer is correct lah. Daddy's IA combined with mommy IB. Can. To form IA, IB. But you cannot just write A. You must write IA, IB. I'm the first time in teacher's life. The teacher teach other state paper. No, this is my first time live also, guys. It's my first time live also, okay? First time figuring out how to do a YouTube live as well. You guys are the first batch, first people that will see my live in YouTube. Because usually I do it at Zoom. Okay, next one. Madam Sue has blood group A. She has accidents and needs blood transfusion immediately. State what blood group of donors that she can receive. This one easy, right, guys? If she's blood group A, she can only receive blood group A and O, right? Obviously, blood group A and O. Okay, A and O. We can write in point form in SPM. This is the point form. I mean, if you want to write in point form, it must be in the full sentences. It means like short sentences. You cannot say that, okay, IA, mom dot dot IB equals zygote IA IB. No, it must be in the short sentences, okay? Madam Sue needs a medical card first. No lah, government hospital very cheap one, the movie, guys. Okay, it can be like that. Okay, it can be like that. Okay, predict what happens if the blood received is not compatible with her blood. Of course, there will be agglutination. So agglutination, it means that the person gonna die because agglutination happens, right? So you can say agglutination of red blood cell occurs. Remember to write red blood cell, not RBC. Yeah. If I write only one blood group, you can write only one blood group. Okay, next one. I have a student who confused about blood donation. Because you know when you donate blood, right? People always think that when you donate blood, it must be antigen and antibody at the same time. Okay, blood donation comes in 3 different types. For you all to understand, if you think that it's very complicated for you to understand, blood donation comes in 3 different types. One, you donate the blood cell. The other one, you donate the blood plasma. The other one, you donate the platelets. Okay, they will separate them into 3 different things before they go for blood donation. If they donate blood, it comes in 3 different parts. Okay, so first, blood cell. When it comes to blood cell, right, it's the one that with antigen. If you take blood plasma, it's the one with antibodies. So if you think that blood group A goes to blood group B, what happens to the antibodies? Would they have any agglutination? No, because when you donate blood cell, it's the one with antigen. If you donate blood plasma, it's the one with antibodies. You don't donate everything together, different one. You all know what is antigen, right? Antigen, it is like a marker. It's like a marker. Okay, what is a marker mean? A marker, it means that it's the one that gives them identification. Okay, when you have blood group A, it means you have antigen A because it shows that you are A, right? Okay, antigen A. If you are blood group B, it means that you have antigen B. So this marker is to give you an identification. So let's say for blood group O, O got no identification. O is like universal donor, right? So it has no antigen. It has only antibodies. So this is the one. If agglutination 2 marks, can I write blood cannot flow through the blood circulation cannot. You cannot write that, okay? If you want to explain what is agglutination, you can only talk about the antigen or antibodies. You can talk about the blood cannot flow through. The blood can still flow through because the person gonna die. What you must explain about the antigen and antibodies. If it's 2 marks lah, okay. Any other question also the same thing. If the question is more than 2 marks or 3 marks, you must explain about the antigen and antibodies. Not what happens to the person. The person dies. The person will die. Yes, it's the last sentence. Your last sentence. The person will die. You have to explain how they die. In biology, right? Whenever a thing dies, you must explain how they die. Okay, next one. A woman managed to give birth to her first child safely, but the woman suffered a miscarriage during the subsequent pregnancy. After a doctor consultation, it was found that the woman had a Rhesus negative factor and all of the Rhesus were Rhesus positive. Explain why these subsequent pregnancy are miscarried. Okay, very simple. When talk about Rhesus factor, there's only one possibility that caused the baby to die. Is where the mother is negative. The dad is positive and the baby is positive. This is the only possibility that it will cause the baby to die, okay? The only possibility. The other possibility, no, the baby don't die one, okay? The mother won't die, the baby won't die. Only this possibility, the baby will die. We call Rhesus factor lah, okay? When it comes to negative and positive, right, which is Rhesus positive and Rhesus negative, you have to understand another point that negative has antibodies. Positive has antigen. This one also got antigen. Okay, let me draw for you to see. My drawing is very bad, guys, okay? This is a pregnant woman. It looks like turtle paise lah, okay? Cannot draw, okay? This is the baby inside the mother. This is the baby, okay? Right now, the mother is negative. The baby is positive. In this case, during the first pregnancy, how come the mother and the baby can survive? Because during the first pregnancy, during late pregnancy or during childbirth, right, some of the positive blood group from the baby, it will go inside the mother, okay? It will go inside the mother. It causes the mother to produce antibodies during the first pregnancy. Let's say the second pregnancy, because the father is still positive, let's say the father is what? Homopositive. Suddenly, if the baby becomes negative, you know what happened lah. If the dad is homopositive and one day the baby is negative, then you know that something is wrong lah, okay? So the baby, you must be positive, right, in second pregnancy. So this second pregnancy, right, the mother already recognized this antigen. So the mother will sense this antigen and basically the mother will produce a lot of antibodies. These antibodies, it can diffuse into the placenta, into the fetus. So the fetus will have agglutination and they will die. There is a term to describe this type of baby. We call it as Erythroblastosis fetalis. Erythroblastosis fetalis. The easiest way to understand is agglutination and hemolysis of red blood cell. It's called Erythroblastosis fetalis. But if you are able to remember the name, it will be the better. It will be a better choice. So right now we have to explain why the baby died. Okay, how come the baby will die? Okay, so your answer will be the father genotype is homozygous Rhesus positive. Okay, homozygous Rhesus positive. Because if you write heterozygous, actually, right, I'm not saying that you are wrong, but it has a chances of getting a negative baby. The scan can be negative also if it's a hetero lah, but it must be homozygote. Homozygous also can. It's the same lah, okay? The Rhesus antigen from fetus enter into mother's bloodstream during delivery time or late pregnancy. Okay, or late pregnancy also can. After first pregnancy, the mother's immune system produce antibodies against the Rhesus antibodies during second pregnancy. The antibodies in mother's body increases rapidly and diffuses into anti-D antibody is also correct. Anti-D antibodies are correct. Just that because anti-D antibodies, right, is the new syllabus one. You guys have to follow the whole syllabus one lah. This anti-D antibodies is the correct term, guys. Don't worry. Diffuse into placenta that causes Erythroblastosis fetalis in fetus. Erythroblastosis fetalis. Okay, why is it called Erythroblastosis fetalis? It's because that erythro refers to the red blood cell. Blastosis refers to the fetus actually, and fetalis is the baby lah. Okay, so it's a bursting and hemolysis of red blood cell required as Erythroblastosis fetalis. Remembering this, it will be better. Erythroblastosis fetalis. Okay, can? Okay, now we are done with section A, all of the structural question, because structural question are the things that you cannot choose, ma. You have to answer all of the question, right? So you must know how to answer all of the structural question. For AC question, it's 4 choose 2. I'm gonna do 4 questions today, lah. Okay. So 4 choose 2, you can choose any question that you feel comfortable. You think that you can score the highest mark, because I have students who ask me, teacher, can I do more questions? Like, can I do like 3 or 4 questions? Can is can lah, but choose 2 top, the most confident one, to write at the first 2 questions first. Only you write the next 2 answer, not next two questions. Because you know sometimes they don't mark oral. I don't know whether they'll mark all or not, but I think that it will be a better choice for you to write the most 2 confident answer first, and then you write the last 2 if you have time. Confirm got time on, guys. Right now we use like 1 hour to finish 5 structural questions. 4 choose 2, you think about what? Another 1 more hour. Your question is like 2.5 hours. You should have time to try and to check your answer. If you have time, I would suggest you to check your answer instead of doing another question. Check your structural question, okay? Check your structural question. Okay, now we're gonna try all of the AC question, 4 questions together. Usually the first thing you can do, right, when you open your paper, you have to see which one you think you can score the most. So for the first one, question 6, when I see second line defense, means I have to know what this is under Form 5 chapter 1. Okay, Form 5 chapter 1. Okay, this is under defense mechanism, right? All of the questions should be Form 5 chapter 1. If you think that your Form 5 chapter 1 is very strong, you choose this question. Form 5 chapter 1 is all theory question here. Next one, question 7. When I see zygote, this is Form 5 chapter 4. So all of the questions here should be Form 5 chapter 4. If you think that your reproduction question are very pro, like the growth curve, you know a lot, the twins, you know a lot, then you can choose this question, Form 5 chapter 4. All of the question is Form 5 chapter 4. This is also all theory one. All theory based on, okay, you must know all theory based on, okay. Question 8. This is Form 4 chapter 8 and Form 4 chapter 9. Because Form 4 chapter 8 and Form 4 chapter 9 is a combination question. It can be 10 marks for chapter 8, 10 marks for chapter 9. Sometimes it can be 20 marks from chapter 8, 20 marks for chapter 9. This one is 10 marks from 8, 10 marks from chapter 9. If you think that your logical thinking is very good, choose this question. Logical means what? You know that what will happen to the area, what causes, how to form a forest. This one is formation. Formation of forest also need a bit theory lah. This one is a lot of theory based as well. But question B, right? If you know the concept, I think you can do this question because it's just writing the bad effect and good effect of human activity and ecosystem. If you know water pollution, you choose this question. If you think that your common sense is very good lah. Because usually for chapter 9 question is like management question. Okay. The last question, Form 4 chapter 6. Usually lah, if I see Form 4 chapter 6, I will choose Form 4 chapter 6. Sorry, not let's see. Confirm Form 4 chapter 6 will be a question. Form 4 Chapter 6 is either a structural question or essay question. I will always choose Form 4 Chapter 6 because it's the easiest, guys, okay? I think that Form 4 Chapter 6 is the easiest. I don't know whether you guys think it's the same or not lah. Because this question is what? Digestion question. And they ask you to choose a menu. I will definitely choose this question if I'm taking SPM. I don't know about you guys, okay? So it will be 2 Form 4 and 2 Form 5, or it can be 3 Form 4 and 1 Form 5. So whichever that you guys prefer. Some people think that Form 4 is very strong, so you can try a lot of essay question for Form 4. If you think that Form 5 is very good, you try all of the Form 5, okay? Try all of the Form 5 question. If it's me lah, I will choose 2 same form. It's either I choose 2 Form 5 or 2 Form 4. Because if you're a very weak student, let's say you don't score well for biology, just study 1 form is enough for your essay question. Structure you cannot choose what? Structure it must be 3 Form 4, 2 Form 5 already. You cannot choose already. So if you think that you're very weak, okay, you choose 1 form to study. You only left 1 month to SPM biology and you have to study for all of the subjects as well, right? You choose 1 form to study. Form 4, you can study Form 4 Chapter 6, 7, 8, 9 for essay question. Form 5, very hard to swallow. Form 5, it can be a lot of subtopic lah. So yeah, if you're very weak lah. But if you're very pro, some of the high level student here, right? Very pro student, right? You can study all. Okay? So let's try the question. For essay question, I will just write point form. I will not form sentence, guys. Because I want to be a little bit faster, so I'll just form the keyword. I'll write the keywords. I will form a short sentence. It's not a full sentence. I think you all can form sentence, right? Simple English is enough. Don't have to write the pro. Don't have to write bombastic English one. Don't have to write besides that. Don't have to write therefore whatever. Okay. Teacher, Form 4 Chapter 8, 9. If I answer is logic, but not in schema, also have marks. If the question is management question, yes, it's an open question. If it's not in schema, if your answer is logical, your answer is correct. If it's management question lah, Chapter 8 question is not a lot of logical question. Chapter 8 is still theory part. Chapter 9 is more management. Management is that what happens, what is the effect, how do you overcome? Okay. Liang Jie, where got take bio one, Liang Jie? Okay, I choose Ling Tao. Different lah, you all different lah. You all only choose 1 essay lah this year. Don't think so much lah, okay? Okay, so let's look at this question. Form 5 Chapter 1. Fever is second line of defense mechanism that fights infection. Fever increases the activity of phagocytes to fight against microorganism that infects body. Explain the activity of phagocytes. When you talk about this one, it says what? This is second line defense mechanism. Second line defense mechanism has a very important process. The process we call it as phagocytosis, okay? Phagocytosis, okay? Based on this keyword, we have to explain what is a phagocytosis. So, since it's phagocytosis, you need something to carry out this process, right? The one that carries out this process is what? It's known as a phagocyte, okay? Phagocyte has 2 types. What is the phagocyte? The first one we have monocyte. The other one is neutrophil. It's the one that carry out phagocytosis. It's called phagocyte. It's a cell where they eat. It's called phagocytes. So these phagocytes, in order for them to eat, they will expand the pseudopodium, which is the hand, and they will engulf. So they will form into a food vacuole. It's called a phagosome. Or you can write food vacuole in SPM, also correct. And this food vacuole, the phagosome, right, they must bind with a thing that can secrete enzyme. The one that forms enzyme, we call it as lysosome. So the enzyme form is called lysozyme. So the lysozyme, it will digest the food inside. Later on, the bacteria, it will be digested and it will be released out from the body. It will be destroyed in a way to say that. So this is second line defense mechanism. It's very easy for you to score this one. If you know amoeba species eating process, you should be able to score this as well. You know amoeba eating process? Extend the pseudopodium, engulf the food, form a food vacuole. Same guys, okay? Same thing one. Don't worry, okay? So first, you can say that the process is called phagocytosis. Occurs by phagocytes. Okay, if you want to write monocyte and neutrophil, also can. If you don't want to write, it's totally fine. But you have to know the example lah. Phagocytes extend pseudopodium. Guys, I'm writing in not a full sentence. This is not a full sentence, guys. Okay, you must form a full sentence in the exam. Engulf pathogen to form food vacuole, or we call it as phagosome. Phagosome combined with lysosome that contains lysozyme. Lysozyme digests, or you can say hydrolyze. Actually, hydrolyze would be a better one. Hydrolyze. Pathogen nutrients are absorbed into cytoplasm and waste product are eliminated, means removed out from the body. Okay. Teacher, can you do Form 5 Chapter 5 and Form 5 Chapter 6 the video? Actually for Form 1 Chapter 5 and Chapter 6 video, right? Not video, chapters, right? You have to practice one. By knowing the theory is not enough. You have to practice until you understand the concept. So the best way to study Chapter 5 and Chapter 6 is to try the question. Because a lot of schematic diagram. And I have students who are very weak in theory part. They can score very well in Chapter 5 and Chapter 6 is because that this part only drawing schematic diagram. How do you find the first generation, second generation? So you have to try how to draw the diagram. Hydrolytic enzyme same as lysozyme. Yes, it's the same. Life until what time? Life until I finish the question. I don't know what time. Pathogen is what? Pathogen is a harmful microorganism. Pathogen is a harmful microorganism. Harmful microorganism like bacteria, virus, those are known as a pathogen. So for every pathogen, they will have antigen on top because antigen is a marker. In order for the antibodies to react to it, right, they must sense the marker first. So for every pathogen, they will have antigen. So they can mark where is it. Okay, next one. Mutu and Basil went to visit Song who was suffering chickenpox. Wow, these two friends really one kind one. Imagine let's say right now your friend has COVID-19, you go and visit your friend. Is it a good choice? Of course, very bad choice, guys. Chickenpox, okay? 3 days later, Mutu has symptoms of chickenpox, but Basil had no symptom. This was the first time Mutu had suffered from the disease, while Basil had experienced it during the childhood. Explain why Mutu and Basil experienced this condition. So for this one here, for this question here, right? It says what? Mutu, okay, suffer from the disease, okay? Basil experienced it. So it means what? This person here, Basil, it used to get chickenpox. So right now the body has the antibodies towards the chickenpox because your body has a thing is a memory cell. What is a memory cell called? The memory cell we call it as lymphocytes. Lymphocytes is a memory cell. They can remember how to fight against the disease. What? So these memory cells are able to know how to fight against the disease. Whereas Mutu don't have. Mutu don't have means what? The body will experience chickenpox so that the body will produce antibodies. So he will suffer from chickenpox in a way to say that. They don't follow SOP. Teacher, should I start to do state paper or past year paper? Past year paper is the reason why it's called past. Past year. Try this year's state paper, dear. It's called a past year for a reason, right? Past, it means over already one. In biology, over means over. Okay? For biology, other subject I don't know. Okay, biology is like that. Okay? Past, it means past. Okay? Try this year's state paper. Teacher suggests to do one state paper first. This year's state paper, 2020, all of the state paper you have to do. Okay? So we're going to try to write the answer here. So we're going to try to write Mutu first. This Mutu and Basil are funny two kids go and visit your friend with chickenpox. So you can say, my pen, why cannot write? Antigen stimulate immune response lymphocytes produce antibodies, but it is below the level of immunity, which is insufficient to destroy pathogen. Okay, Ken? Next, we have barzil. So barzil has natural active immunity. Natural active, it means that basically when you recover from a disease, you will get the immunity from it. It's called natural active. You must recover from a disease first. Only you can have natural active. If it's artificially active, it means it must be artificial. It means you must inject the vaccination if it's artificially active. So if it's naturally passive, it must be like breastfeeding. Those are called naturally passive. Okay? Because Mutu is big. Okay, so you can see memory cell remains in body. Memory cell, it means the lymphocytes is called memory cell. This is the lymphocytes. Lymphocytes. Okay, so the memory cell. No why my pen like no ink like that one. Memory cells produce antibodies rapidly that achieve level of immunity to fight against disease. To fight against disease. This is the answer. I don't know why my pen cannot write. Wipe a little bit. Okay, so this is Barzil and Mutu. You cannot say Mutu is big, guys, okay? My pen is big, my pen also big. I don't know why sometimes got no ink come out on, okay? Okay, next one. Diagram 6 shows two position of human leg. We have P and Q. They ask you to explain P and the Q that helps the blood return to the heart. So whenever you walk, right, is a way to improve your blood circulation. Okay, so based on this diagram here, you can see that we have valve, two valve, we have position P and position Q. We have to know which one is contracting the muscle, which one is relaxing the muscle. By looking at the diagram, I think you can see a little bit difference, right? By looking at the vein in the middle. This one here is moving inside, right? This one here is moving outside, right? Don't know whether you can see that. There's a little bit difference between them. One is like smaller vein, one is like a big, slightly bigger vein. So the one that goes inside, obviously this is a contraction, okay? This is a relaxation. How come cannot write words out one okay? Relaxation. I don't know why. It's not writing anything now, okay? Next one, we have valve, okay? So for valve on top, this one here is closed. This one is open. Let me write again. Relax. Oh, is it my screen got a lot of my sweat? Okay. So next one, the bottom one valve, right? It must be opposite. Okay. So this one is open. This one is closed. Oh yeah, maybe it's my screen that is wet, full with my sweat. That's why I cannot write anything. Let me wipe a little bit first, okay? Okay. Position P is like putting your feet onto the ground, and position Q, you're lifting your leg, right? We have to explain based on the keywords that we can see here. We can see from this diagram. Need to want to memorize the muscle name. Don't have to memorize the muscle. If you want to know the muscle, it's called the calf muscle. In scientific term, it's called as gastrocnemius, but calf muscle is enough. Calf, C-A-L-F, calf muscle. Okay, whenever we explain, right, we have to explain what happens in the vein. Okay, vein. Why cannot write vein? Okay. Number 2, we have to write at P. The third one, we have to write at Q. Okay. So these are the 3 things that we have to involve. When we talk about the three thing lah, okay, we have to involve what happens to the vein, what happens at P, what happens at Q. So what is the vein? Vein is the one that's over here. This one here is the vein here. This is the vein. This is the vein. I have to write damn hard right now. I don't know why. I don't know why. It's like cannot write. No lah. I think I have to change the tip only lah. Okay, by looking at this diagram here, you can see that if this part is open, it means that the blood, it will be at this location. If this part is closed, this part is open, it means that the blood will be this location. Okay, so we have to know that how to explain. What teacher first time do live math, too excited? No lah. My hand sweats every time it's hot, even though I have aircon on here. It's very normal for me to sweat. Okay, so the first one, we have to talk about the blood pressure in vein is low. You know why vein has a lower blood pressure, right? Because vein has a larger lumen. That's why the blood pressure is lower. Right now, you have to return the blood back to your heart. It's an anti-gravitational force. If it's an anti-gravitational force, right, basically, it's quite hard if you have no WAF. Because if you have no WAF, right, the blood will flow back to the leg. So you need to have WAF to prevent the backflow of blood. That's why you have WAF when you have vein, whenever you walk, okay? So you can write the blood flow against the gravity in order to return to heart. Okay, so we have done with the explanation for 1, which is the vein part. Then we have to explain about position P and position Q. So for position P, the muscle relax, right? Because I've labeled when it move out, it means relax, right? So you can see, you can write that at position P, skeletal muscle relax. Just now we write, right? The valve, one is open, one is closed, right? So you can see the valve at upper part closes to prevent backflow of blood towards the foot. One question in section B and section C sure come out for form 4. No, for section A got 3 form 4, section B got 2 form 4. Okay, and then next one. Really, this pen is disappointing me, guys. This Apple pen at position Q, skeletal muscle contract the veins constrict and blood pressure increases. The upper valve open to allow blood to flow back to heart. Can buy pineapple pen. What? Guys, this is the apple pen. Like the legit apple pen. Try to use pineapple pen. I think I have to change the tape. I don't know why. Just cannot write today. Maybe just today, I don't know. Because SPM seminar that time I can still write for 6 hours. Okay, next one. Explain what would happen if someone stood in P position for too long, okay? Now, when a person is standing for too long, what will happen to the person? Because when you're just standing, right, which is at position P only, you're only at P, right? What will happen to the person? Basically, the person cannot return the blood back to the heart. When the blood cannot go back to the heart, the person will have lesser oxygen. The person will feel tired. Faint, they don't faint, just that lesser blood goes back to the brain. So this is what will happen to the person. Lesser oxygen, lesser energy. So that you can say that the person will get tired, or pale, less blood flow to brain, lesser oxygen is transported, lesser energy also can. Okay, either one also can. As long as you mention lesser oxygen go back to the brain, lesser energy is produced, also can. Okay, can. Next question. Next question is Form 5, Chapter 4. This is under twins question. But if you think that, if you try the question for this year, right, you will notice that there's a lot of question for Form 5, Chapter 4 about twins question. So maybe for twins question, you have to take note a little bit in order for you to score well in exam for twins question. Why the person stand straight for so long? Maybe it's occupational thing like when I teach that time I also stand for very long hours one. Maybe it's occupation thing, right? Okay, 7.1 shows a diagram of the formation of twins. You can see there is 2 ovum and 2 sperm, okay? 2 ovum and 2 sperm. So these 2 ovum and 2 sperm, it will fuse together to form into a blastocyst. So blastocyst, it will form into a fetus. Of course, actually, it's just not blastocyst. It has a sequence for this. 2 ovum, 2 sperm, it will form into 2 zygote. 2 zygote, it will form into 2 zygote, it will form into 2 cell stage, 4 cell stage, 8 cell stage. It will form into morula, and then only blastocyst. So you have a sequence for this. A zygote, 2 cell, 4 cell, 8 cell, morula, blastocyst. Okay. Now, when it comes to blastocyst, right, you have to know a little bit thing about blastocyst. We have the inner cell and outer cell. This outer cell we call it as a trophoblast. I don't know why I cannot write the words now. Trophoblast. Yeah. Why cannot write blast? B-L-A-S-T. Disappointed, guys. You all can spell by yourself, right? Trophoblast. Yeah. Blast. Why cannot write anything? Blast. Trophoblast, okay? Next, we have the inner cell. The inner cell, we have the inner cell. Well, here also can write. Form into a fetus. This one forms into a placenta. Okay, this one forms into placenta. So this is the difference between the trophoblast and the inner cell and the outer cell. One is placenta, one is fetus, and they form into a twins. So this kind of twins we call it as a non-identical twin. Non-identical twins mean that they don't have the same characteristic, they will not have the same gender, they will not have any same personality as well. Sometimes it will be influenced, but it will be different. They have different gender, okay? They have different gender. Now we can write what is the twins name. The twins we call it as non-identical twins. I don't know why I cannot write. Okay, maybe I can type and see. Oh, I can type, guys. Yeah, type lah, okay. I can type, okay. Not. But I cannot see. Cannot see, right? Never mind. Give me 1 second. 1 second. Let me take a think. Guys, really, Apple product, don't buy. I said now. Okay. Don't know whether this one works or not, okay? Oh, it can't work this way. This is, oh, cannot write anything though. Non-identical. Identical twins. Okay, you all try to write loud, okay? Non-identical twins. So it's between 2 sperm and 2 ovum to form into 2 different zygote. Okay, by writing like that, right, in your exam, no marks, guys. This is a wrong way to writing point for. Okay, but because right now I don't know why sometimes I cannot write words, so I don't write so many words, okay? 2 sperm and 2 ovum, you form into 2 different zygote. So these 2 different zygote, it will be different gender, and it has 2 placenta. Okay, 2 placenta. Okay, so this is the answer lah. You can form your sentence by yourself, right? If you're able to write 2 sperm fertilized with 2 different ovum, you will form into 2 different zygote. They have different gender and has 2 different placenta. Your answer is correct. Okay, I will track lesser word as I can because of the disappointment over here. Okay, 7.2 shows a regular menstrual cycle. Describe the process that happens from phase M until ovulation. Okay, now by looking at this diagram, right, for menstruation, right, you have to know that until ovulation, ovulation is which day? Ovulation is day 14, guys. Day 14 is ovulation. Ovulation, okay? Now, 1 to 7 and 7 to 13 is different phase. 1 to 7 is phase 1, okay? 7 to 14 is phase 2. Day 14 is phase 3. The rest are phase 4, okay? Why would I put it into different phase like that? It's because that when you know 1, 2, 3, 4, you will know the sequence of the hormones. Okay, number 1, the first hormone that you have to know is follicle stimulating hormone. But sometimes non-identical have same gender as well. Yes, if it's non-identical, it can be same gender, it can be different gender. Okay, same gender, it can be different gender, it can be different characteristic, different personality, different height, different looking, different genetic information. Okay, can next one. Second one is second hormone is estrogen. The third hormone is luteinizing hormone. The fourth hormone is progesterone. This hormone, you have to know it in sequence, okay? Because if you know it in sequence, you have to know what what is the function of the hormone as well. So FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, means what? It will stimulate the growth of follicle. Estrogen, it will repair the endometrium wall. Luteinizing hormone, they will stimulate ovulation. Progesterone, they will thicken the endometrium wall. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 sequence, 4 things over here. Now, first of all, since it's 1, 2, 3, 4, right? This is number 1. We have a lot of hormone here. Number 2, we have a lot of estrogen. This is number 3, number 4. Is follow the sequence that right 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, when we want to explain day 1 to day 14, we have to talk about FSH, estrogen, and luteinizing hormone. If your answer has these 3 things here, okay, 3 hormones with their function, your answer are correct. These 3 hormones with their function are correct. Okay, so first of all, we're going to start from day 1 to 6. Day 1 to 6 is the bleeding time. You don't call period, guys. In bio, we call it as menstruation. Menstruation, okay? Menstruation, okay? Menstruation occurs. So what happens during menstruation? Menstruation is where the uterine lining, they will break down. At the same time, they have a lot of FSH. When I feature the question asked to explain the formation, but your answer isn't the characteristic. No. Formation, it means what? Number 1, you write the name, which is the non-identical twins. 2 sperm, 2 ovum is the formation. 2 different zygote are the formation. The zygote formed into 2 different gender are the formation as well. It can be the same hormone, it can be the different hormone. So that is the formation. They have their own, they have the placenta, also one of the formation as well, because they have 2 different zygotes. So they have 2 different placenta. So that's why that is the formation. It's not the characteristic. It can be the characteristic actually. Is it a must to remember the hormone name? Got problem if I got half out? Huh? Is it a must to remember the hormone name? Of course, you must remember the hormone name. That is the most important one, guys, okay? That is the most important one. You have to know the hormone name. FSH, estrogen, LH, and progesterone. Okay, back to this again. I don't know whether I can write now or not. Hopefully can write now, okay? Uterine wall will disintegrate. I think my pen is having PMS right now. Sometimes can write, sometimes cannot write. I don't know why. Okay, since is FSH. FSH is short form, right? Okay, I teach them how to remember. When you see short form, it must come from the pituitary gland. If you see a full name, progesterone and estrogen, it will come from the ovary. Okay, ovary. Since it's FSH, of course, they are from pituitary gland. So pituitary gland. Now they can write. Good job, Apple Pen. Secrete. Wait Now I cannot write again. Secrete. FSH. Can you write FSH in exam? Of course you cannot write FSH. You must write follicle stimulating hormone. So for follicle stimulating hormone is the one that stimulates the growth of follicle. This one, now I cannot write again. Stimulate the growth of follicle. Okay, this is the answer. Okay, now when you have follicle, right, follicle growing bigger into size, right, they will secrete another hormone called estrogen. So estrogen, they can help in repairing of the endometrial wall. Okay, so the second one, day 7 to 13. Day 7 to 13. The follicle has developed so right now they will have the Grothian follicle. So you can see the way, right, follicle has developed to secrete estrogen. So estrogen hormone. Well, really sometimes can write, sometimes can write. Hormones repair endometrial wall. So when you have a higher level of estrogen, they will have lower FSH. So you can say increase of estrogen inhibit secretion of FSH, but it will stimulate luteinizing hormone. So for luteinizing hormone is the one that stimulates ovulation. So we have day 14. Day 14 is the one that stimulates ovulation. So you only have to explain until day 14. The rest of the part don't have to explain already. Really cannot write anything at this one. Okay, done. Next question. If I cannot write, then I will just stay lah, okay? Can write. If I cannot write anything, if my pen disappoint me, I can just explain the question, right? Okay. Okay, now 7.3 shows a cross-section of a dicotyledonous stem P and Q which undergoes growth process. By looking at this diagram, this is plant, right? Now for plant question is still under Form 5 Chapter 4. You can see one is simpler diagram, one is complicated diagram. Simpler diagram and complicated diagram for growth, you must know. One is a primary growth, the other one is secondary growth. So obviously that what stem P is primary growth, stem Q is a secondary growth. Okay, one is primary, one is secondary. And you have to write what? Compare and contrast the growth. Compare and contrast means what? You have to write similarity and differences. Similarity and differences. If you didn't write similarity, means your answer not correct law. If you only write differences or only write only either one lah, your answer are not complete. Even you write 10 differences, your answer are not complete because you never write similarity. So you must involve the similarity. You can write 2 similarity, 8 differences. You can write 3 similarity and 7 differences. As long as you write similarity. You can be 4, 6, 5, 5, 3, 7 also can. Usually differences we have more compared to similarity. Now, first of all, since we have to write similarity, right? No matter whether it's a primary group or secondary group, they will increase permanently. It means you cannot reverse back. When you undergo primary growth, it means they're already in primary growth. They cannot go back to germination. When you carry out secondary growth, they cannot go back to primary growth because secondary growth is the other type of growth, right? So you must write similarity. Okay, next one. No matter whether it is a primary growth or secondary growth, both process takes place in a meristematic cell. What is a meristematic cell? It means it's a young cell, but one is apical, one is lateral. Apical means at the tip, lateral means at the side, but both are meristematic cell. This is the second similarity. Okay, the third similarity is basically they will carry out differentiation. Differentiation means they will have different function. they have different function for primary group and secondary group in a way to say that. Now, for similarity, I write in short form, guys. I scared my pen. Okay, size increase permanently. Cell division occurs at meristematic cell, and then they carry out cell differentiation to carry out specific function. If I write 11 points but I have 1 point wrong, can get 10 marks, can. Okay, and then we have differences for P and Q. So this is primary growth. For AC question, you can write in table form, guys. If it's differences, this is secondary growth. Next one, this one increase in height. This one increase in diameter. So increase in height, right? Height is a limited growth. Like human lah, height is limited lah, and then fat is unlimited lah. Same as human as well. Increase in height is limited growth. This is unlimited growth. And then for primary growth, they have only primary xylem and phloem. Obviously, this one you have secondary xylem and secondary phloem. Another one, you can talk about what? You can talk about the cork cambium, okay? The cork cambium. This one has cork cambium. I posted Form 5 Chapter 4 video, a full video of my teaching video in my YouTube. So if you don't know the Form 5 Chapter 4 thing, you can refer back to my YouTube video. It's, I think, 1 hour plus video lah, okay? You can go and find the video. Okay, this one, no cork cambium. And then this one happens in all type of plants. All type of plants means is a monocondylon or dicondylon. They will also carry out primary growth because it occurs after germination. Secondary growth occurs after primary growth. So this one happens in woody plant, which is the dicondylon. Just now we write how many? We write 3 segment, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. One more. One more you can write this one has less woody tissue. This one got more woody tissue. You can also write about cork tissue. This one got no cork tissue. This one has a cork tissue. So you can try to write more if you want to write more. Have wrong cancer right structure right in structure and AC. Of course, wrong cancer right means you're writing answer that you're slapping your own mouth. It means that you write A is a boy. Okay, let's say you have 2 human. Okay, two are actually one boy, one girl. You say A is boy, A is a girl. If you're trying to try your luck to get the correct answer, your answer are wrong. You can write more answer, but your answer cannot be slapping your own mouth. Usually, for chapter 9 question, right, Form 4 chapter 9 question, you can write a lot of answer. Because that one is open question. Open question, you can write a lot of answer. Even that's not in your marking scheme, you can also get correctly. The pen does not want to work later while it wants to get angry. No, I will not get angry one. I just get very annoyed. That's all. I don't really get angry. Okay? I don't think that anyone see me angry before for our own student. I don't really get angry. Okay? So, question 8. Diagram 8.1 shows the change of an ecosystem from year 17,000 to 19,000. So, 100, sorry. The changes of ecosystem are due to process X and process Y. Explain. Whenever we explain about how a forest is being formed, we have to base on few aspects. Number 1, we have to explain about the background. Okay, this is the first thing that we have to explain. Second one, we have to explain about the colonization. Okay, Colonization means you conquer the place called colonization. The third aspect we have to explain is succession. Succession is the one that take over the first species, the pioneer species. Next one, the fourth one, we have climax community. This is the climax community. Pencil, no, got battery. Got battery, got everything is okay. Just that today, like right now, just now got no problem, all right? Just that right now, the pen is having PMS. Okay, so for background, we have to explain what? We have to explain about there is no life, there is no water, the soil are infertile. This is background, means nothing on the ground required as a background. If you are able to explain these four aspects with the explanation, you're going to get 10 marks because 10 marks, right? You can write 3, 3, 3, 1. 10 marks, right? 3, 3, 3, 1, right? For each point, you get 1 mark. So if you're able to write no life, you get 1 mark. Sentence, no water, you get 1 mark. Soil infertile, you get another mark. Okay, so these are the things that you have to write when it comes to background. Colonization. Colonize means what? Colonize means you conquer the place, right? Like now people colonize the country. Colonize means you conquer the place. Now, when you conquer a place, it must be a living organism. Can a non-living organism conquer the place? Cannot, right? It must be a living organism. This living organism required as a pioneer species, okay, required as a pioneer species, the first ever species required as a pioneer species. So this type of species, right, they are easily reproduced and they have smaller leaves and they will have higher rate of lesser rate of transpiration because the leaves are smaller. Okay, so this is colonization. So you can see living organism, living, yeah, I cannot write anything there. Living organism conquer a new area. And the living organism required as a pioneer species. They are easily reproduced. They have small leaves. This is to reduce transpiration. And when the pioneer species die, they will add humus to the soil. Means to the soil, and then it becomes higher, like in the way to say that. Okay, wait, let me write slightly lower a little bit. And then we have the root required as a fibrous root. This fibrous root is like all over the places. Everyone concerned about a pen. So guys, you have to concern about your exam rather than concerned about my pen. I'm not even worried about my pen because there's always plan B if I cannot write anything, guys. Don't have to worry about my pen. Just worry about worry about your exam. Okay, so they die easily and decompose as humus. Humus is a dead organism, guys. Humus is a dead organism, so they will add the base, no matter whether it's a pond or no matter whether it's a mangrove swamp, no matter whether it's a bare ground. It's the same thing, guys. Succession. The one that takes over pioneer species required as a successor species. Successor species take over the pioneer species. So they have small seed and also easily to reproduce. Easily to reproduce. Okay, when it comes to successor, right, by imagining the successor species, it must be slightly taller than the pioneer species. So in this case, if it's taller than pioneer species, what happens to the pioneer species? They will also die, right? In that case, so successor species has different species. If you want to write the example, you can write the example. But I think that there are too many things for you to remember in biology, Adida, so that don't have to write the example if you can't remember anything. Well, you have fern now, what kind of tree? I don't have to write any example. Just write this one. It's enough for you. Definitely, it's enough for you to score more than 10 marks. Okay. Next, colonize Wailing answer in SPM. Ching, 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 ching. What is that? Okay. So you can see taller than pioneer species. So that pioneer species got no sunlight. No sunlight means they die. Guys, I'm not writing in full sentence, guys. I'm writing in just keywords. Exam, please form a full sentence. So they will increase the soil fertility. Okay, why like? Because when something die, they have decomposer, right? So they will add humus in they will add humus into the soil, and then when there's a lot of humus with organism, basically the soil will be very fertile. So that's why you increase the soil fertility. When you reach a climax community, we call it as a tropical rainforest. Tropical rainforest is formed, which is a stable community. Actually, for all of the pond or no matter whether it's a mangrove swamp, right, you must be able to write similar stuff. Just that you have to write the species when it comes to the pond and mangrove swamp, because mangrove swamp has 4 different species, right? And then for the pond also got 4. Mangrove swamp and pond have 4 different species, right? You must involve the species in your answer. That's only. All of the answers should be the same one. For mangrove swamp, you have Abyssinia, you have Sonoratia, Rhizophyra, and Bugera species. For pond, we have aquatic plant, we have the floating plant, submerged plant. We have the amphibian plant is the same thing, guys. Land plant is the same thing. So you must involve the species when you write for the answer. So it's the same thing, lah. More or less should be the same thing. And you have to focus on the succession and colonization for pond and mangrove swamp this year as well. Similar to this question, it will not be the same unless it's a K-bar question. They ask you, this shows a mangrove swamp. They ask you how do you want to manage into a tourist area or tourism area, how to promote tourism area in mangrove swamp. That one is different case. That one is under management already. If it's under management question, you can use your common sense. Means it's an open question. Okay, diagram 8.2 shows 2 different suggested activity that will be implemented by the local community near a lake. If the suggestion were implemented, discuss the good and bad effects of the activity to human and ecosystem. Okay, in this case, you can see you have human activity, you have a lake, you have a fertilizer zone, and this is a animal farming. Animal farming. Animal farming means what? We have feces. Okay, the question asks you to write good and bad effect into the lake. We only learn bad effect for lake water pollution, right? Where you have a lot of fertilizer, it will cause you eutrophication. But is there any good effect? Of course, there is good effect, because when you have a farming area, right, you can increase the food production. You can increase the livestock. You can increase quality of life. You can increase the job opportunity. So actually, it has good effect as well. Not only bad effects based on this diagram, we have good effects. If it's a bad effect, you explain about the water pollution, which is the eutrophication question. Okay, so you can write the good effect. Okay, number 1, you have enough food supply. Number 2, you can increase crop production. The third one, this one can fulfill human need, increase quality of life, increase job opportunity. A lot of things you can write the same answer. Job opportunity, deforestation also can increase quality of life, also can increase job opportunities. Okay, next one, we have a bad effect. Bad effect, we have to talk about the water pollution. So water pollution comes in the keyword, which is the fertilizer. Fertilizer contains of 2 things. One is phosphate, one is nitrate. Okay, phosphate and nitrate. So phosphate and nitrate, right, it will promote the growth of algae. Eventually, it will have a scenario we call it as algae bloom, means there's a lot of green color thing on the surface of water. At the bottom, which is in the lake, right, we have 2 types of organism. One is aquatic plant, one is aquatic animal. So which one will die first? Obviously, the plants will die first. Why? Because no sunlight means no photosynthesis. So the plant will die first. When a plant die, they must have an aerobic bacteria. This aerobic bacteria is a type of decomposer. Aerobic means what? Aerobic means they need oxygen. If they need oxygen, they will use up the oxygen in the pond. When the pond got no oxygen, we have another thing called BOD, biochemical oxygen demand. This biochemical oxygen, this BOD, right, increases, the demand of oxygen increases, the supply of oxygen reduces. When you have lesser oxygen, the animal will die because animal got no oxygen. If you follow the sequence to write the entire thing, you should have your full marks for your bad effects. Okay, you start from the fertilizer first. The example of fertilizer, what happens to the pond? So if they ask good and bad effects, we have to answer both. Of course, we have to answer both. Okay, you can write lesser good effect and more bad effects. Because it's quite hard to write good effects for 10 marks also, right? What is the good effect for 10 marks? It's very hard to write. Bad effects usually got more. Okay, so for this one, you can write excess fertilizer. We have phosphate and nitrate. They will promote the growth of algae. It will cause a thing called algae bloom. Guys, in exam, remember to form sentences. I'm just writing keywords that you have to write in your sentence. It covers the surface of lake. Sunlight unable to penetrate into lake. Aquatic plant die because there is no photosynthesis, because no sunlight, right? And they will increase aerobic bacteria, which is a type of decomposer, to decompose dead organism by using oxygen. BOD increases oxygen supply, reduces in lake. Aquatic animal die due to lack of oxygen. Exam cannot write BOD, you must write the full form. This entire situation required as eutrophication. This entire water pollution required as eutrophication when it involves of the fertilizer for any farming activities. Okay, BOD increases. The demand of oxygen increases so that the supply is lesser. When the supply is lesser, means no more oxygen, the aquatic animal die first. Remember, the sequence are important. You must write the plant die first. Bacteria uses oxygen, only the animal will die. You cannot write animal die first. If you write animal die first, means your answer are wrong. So these are the answer. If the question asks you to write 10 marks for bad effects for water pollution, these are the 10 marks as well. It's the same thing. You have to involve eutrophication, the name. You also get 10 marks, guys. Okay, you also have to write the entire thing when it comes to this type of question. Okay, next one, the last question. Okay, thank God that my pen can survive in the last question. Okay, last question. Diagram 9.1 shows the food P which taken by a student during breakfast. 9.1b shows the digestive system of human. Okay, this one is the easiest question, guys. I will definitely encourage you all to choose this question for chapter 6. When it comes to human question, chapter 6, digestion, choose this question. Very easy to score marks. Super easy to score marks because you learned this one since Form 2, I guess, Form 2. Very easy to score marks. Okay, now, let's look at this question. Describe the digestion of food P at RST in order for the student to obtain energy. Okay, you have to explain what? You have to explain what is food P, R, S, T, and energy. Okay, if you're able to explain all of the point here, you're going to get full marks. First, start from P first. P is a bread, right? Bread is what? Bread is actually the carbohydrate. Bread is actually the carbohydrate, guys. Okay, now, when it comes to carbohydrate, it means that we have to digest starch. So let's start from mouth. Okay, mouth. We have two things. One is called physical digestion. The other one is called as a chemical digestion. Physical digestion involves of chewing. Okay, so we have physical digestion involve of chewing. It means they will break the larger food particle into a smaller food particle. You can explain larger food particle into smaller food particle. Next one, we have chemical digestion. Chemical digestion means what? Involve of enzyme. This enzyme to digest starch is what? Of course, is amylase. Can you just write amylase? Of course, you cannot just write amylase. We have to write salivary amylase. Okay, you have to write salivary amylase. In order for the enzymes to react properly, the enzyme must be at optimum pH value. So salivary amylase can only occur an optimum pH value, which is pH 7. And the starch hydrolyzed into maltose. So no matter whether it's a bread or no matter whether it's a rice, right, when you go into your mouth, as you chew it, you should taste sweet because starch is not sweet, maltose is sweet. Okay, so this is the sequence, hydrolyzed, plus H2O because it's a hydrolysis. Next one we have S. S is a duodenum. Duodenum got no physical digestion, it's only chemical digestion. So for duodenum, in order to digest starch, we must have what? We must have pancreatic juice, right? So pancreatic juice, okay? Pancreatic juice, we have pancreatic amylase because the rest are not important because there's only bread here, right? For example, pancreatic juice has 3 enzymes. What are the 3 enzymes? We call it as a LAT enzyme, LAT. LAT, the lipase, amylase, and trypsin are LAT, okay? So right now we only use amylase, pancreatic amylase. So this pancreatic amylase is actually to hydrolyze starch into maltose as well because it's the same thing as starch, right? Starch hydrolyzed into maltose, okay? Okay, another thing that you can talk about, it has bile because bile are from the liver, right? Bile is to neutralize the acid from stomach. In order for duodenums to work in optimum pH, because duodenum is pH 8.5, okay? This alkaline medium, right, is with the help of bile because bile will neutralize acid from the stomach. It will neutralize acid from the chyme, basically. So bile is important as well. If you want to talk about bile, also can. And then we have T. T, you cannot write small intestine. T, you must write ileum. So same thing, you have to digest starch, right? I mean, like the maltose, right? So the enzyme here is what? The enzyme here is maltase. Maltase, they will hydrolyze maltose into glucose. Maltose into glucose. So this is maltase. Okay, so it's very simple. Just only have to explain about carbohydrate. Unless the question say this is the bread and egg. You have to talk about protein as well. If it's protein, you have to start from the stomach as well. Stomach got the enzyme pepsin, and then we have trypsin and we have epsin. Because it's only bread. Talk about bread, okay? And then we have to explain about the energy over here, right? So in order to have energy, how do you have energy? Because right now it's glucose, right? So in small intestine, I look at over here. Okay, glucose is absorbed into villus. Okay, if it's glucose absorbed into villus is by blood capillary, not lactate, because lactate is for lipid soluble substances. Glucose is by the blood capillaries. Okay, if it's fatty acid and glycerol, that one will be lactate. And then muscle cell. In muscle cell, the glucose is oxidized into energy by cellular respiration. So this is how you get energy from glucose. If you are able to write everything here, you can get your full marks. So I think it's very simple when the question asks about digestion. If it's me, I will choose this lah. I don't know whether about you lah, because it's very simple. Next question, also very simple. This next question, they give you a menu of a pregnant woman menu. They ask you, this is her dinner, and they ask you to justify, is this menu suitable or not suitable for pregnant women? Usually for this question, right, got two answer one. One is yes, one is no. Both answer also correct if you're able to explain correctly. Now, based on this diagram here, you can see that rice is 200, fried potato is 70, meat is 70, fried egg is 30, carbohydrate drink is 180, chicken nugget is 80, fresh milk is 70. If it's me lah, I will explain it's not healthy lah. Why? Because there is no vegetable, there is no fruits. So the person will have constipation problem. Is a pregnant woman, guys, okay? And it has a lot of carbohydrates. Carbonated drink, it will cause diabetes mellitus. Too much of sugars, it will also cause obesity as well. And it will lead to diabetes mellitus. A pregnant woman usually get diabetes easily. They have a diabetes called a pregnancy diabetes lah, okay? So if you want to talk about the good effect, okay, sorry, yes, acceptable. You have to explain. Rice produces energy. Potato chip also gives energy. When you explain in the category. What does the category mean? Don't have to explain one by one. You explain carbohydrate generally. For example, let's say if it's good, okay? If it's good, you can say that the pregnant woman consume enough of carbohydrate, such as rice and potato chip, okay? Such as rice and potato chip, where it can generate energy for daily activity. Okay, let's say if you want to say it's not healthy, okay? You can say that the pregnant woman consume too much of carbohydrate, such as rice and potato chip, that it will lead to diabetes mellitus, it will lead to obesity. Don't have to write one by one. Write in the category. Same as protein as well. You can say that the pregnant woman consumes enough of protein, such as meat, curry, and fried egg, where chicken nugget. Okay, meat, curry, fried egg, and chicken nugget, where it will help in formation of new cell. It will help in growth and development for the fetus. It can help in producing new cell to repair damaged cell. Also can. Write in a category. Don't have to write one by one. Rice got enough energy. Potato chip, you are repeating your answer, so write in a category. When you choose yes, you have to write all yes answer. Yes is suitable, you have to write all yes suitable answer. You cannot mix your answer. Means you cannot say that yes, it is suitable, but carbonated drink is not healthy. You cannot write that. You cannot write a but, okay? If you want to say no, you must say everything that is unhealthy. You cannot mix your answer. So this question also very simple to explain, because just write what is the effect of eating protein, carbohydrate, and lipids. Don't have to write one by one. If you want to write bad effect, you write bad effect. So this question is also very simple. I'm not going to write the answer for this one lah, because it's a bit simple for me to write the answer. Just discuss lah, okay? So for AC question, you choose something that is something that you are very confident with your answer. Don't choose something that you're not confident. So you think that if you think that the reproduction question is very hard to write, then you don't write that. You don't choose that question, because whenever students see plants question, they will skip the question. So you don't choose that, you choose other question. Okay, so for this one, teacher, can we write in table form? For this one, yes, you can write in table form. You can say carbohydrate for what example. You can justify your answer. You can write in table form for this one. Only this one, and this one, and also the comparison question. If chicken nugget classified as fat, cannot. Chicken nugget cannot classify as fat unless it's a fried food. Fried potato chip can classify as a fat and also carbohydrate, because got fried. Chicken nugget is not fried. Maybe people steam chicken nugget, right? We never know ma. If the question say that fried chicken nugget, then you can write fat. What if people like to eat steamed chicken nugget, right? We never know ma, right? So you have to follow the keywords in the question. So right now we are done with the explanation for SVP 2020 paper 2. Any question you can ask me. No question, then I will see where I can discuss another set of paper as well. Okay, so any question you can ask me lah. So if you're done, I can see you all next time. Good luck for your exam. I don't know when I will see you, but good luck for your exam lah, guys. Eat without, what is eat without fried? Teacher, for question 7C, can you briefly explain why primary growth contains a cord cambium and no cord, while secondary growth is opposite. What is the difference between cord cambium and cord? Cord cambium is a ring in the middle. Cord is the, okay, let me show you here in the diagram. 7C, right? This one, right? This one, correct, this one, okay? So the cord is this thing over here. This one is the outer layer. This one we call it as cord. Cord cambium is this one. This is a cord cambium. Cord cambium and cord can only find in secondary growth where they will act as a protection for the plant. If you look at the plant, you know outside got like a scab kind of thing, right? Those are cord. They will act as a protection. So only secondary growth, they will have cord cambium. That is the characteristic. It's a fact characteristic. You can look back to my videos for chapter 4. Okay. Langjit always do calculation. Paper 3 hotspot, I have done it. Whatever there is not out yet, it will be the paper 3 question. I did a paper 3 video previously. You can watch the paper 3 video. What is the way to answer that kind of food class question? What is the kind of way to answer? Just write lah. Carbonated drink contains of sugar where it will lead to diabetes mellitus. Rice and potato contains of carbohydrates that it will lead to obesity as well. Beer with lignin. Lignin is different. Lignin is by xylem. Lignin is the xylem one. Okay? Okay, so we are done for today, guys. Any questions? Maybe you can ask me in my Instagram now because I have to end the stream soon. Good luck for your exam, guys. Bye for 2 hours and 21 minutes. Okay, not bad. Thank you for staying for 2 hours and 21 minutes, guys. So, I can talk more. 2 hours only. My seminar is like 3, 4, 5 hours, guys. Okay? So, bye, guys. Bye, humans. Bye. Bye. Bye.